Cancer. Hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early June 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Cancer Collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Cancer Collective in early June? We are getting very close to Cancer season, my good friends. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you could lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Cancer in early June. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick for my good friends, please. There we go. Ask and you shall receive. All right, so it's a bit of complexity going on here with this card, and I've seen it come out a few times over the past couple weeks for a few different signs, and I always say it seems very inconspicuous, right? You just have this little dresser and little items and someone looking in the mirror. But to me, there's always a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of complexity. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the June subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So looking at the image, it looks like a lady looking in a mirror, multiple reflections, multiple mirrors, and technically she's holding a mask over her face, which kind of tells us all is not what it seems, right? And then looking further at all these different items that are laid out here, we have the Russian nesting dolls, the babushkas, right, that are layer upon layer upon layer. So to me, this can represent any situation, feeling, or emotion that might be very simple on its surface. But when you start peeling back the layers, it gets more and more complex. So for some of you, that's not even really that big of a deal, right? Maybe you're just a little busy. Maybe you just have a lot on your mind, a lot on your plate. Easy. But for some, it might be a situation where it's like from the outside looking in, people might think this is easy, but there's a lot more to it than people would realize. So there's a lot of complexity here, and complexity isn't necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes it could be a little heavy to deal with. We're just going to put her down right there. We'll see if that theme continues to show up as we move through the reading. But she could keep checking out her reflection. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Cancer. What do we got? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, talk about last week's reading. Some pretty good energy. So it was titled A Massive Offer. There were a lot of aces, a lot of good fresh energy coming in, a lot of good energy around communication showing up. So hopefully that energy sticks around for a while, because that could bleed over for a couple weeks. It especially looks good for career things. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for Cancer to start. What do we have in early June for our good friends? Cool. Nice. That's a good start. I don't want to get too overly excited yet, but we have the 9 of Cups in position number 1. That is a really, really good start. Very open, welcoming type of energy. Let's get a couple more out here, and we'll start piecing it together. Thank you. Cool. World. Nice. Don't get all nervous about that world, right? And I always say, yeah, it could be a change of a chapter. Okay, let's get one more. One more here for Cancer. Okay, 5 of Cups. Cool. So there are opposing energies on either side of this world, and we're just going to have to see how they all play out. There's a little tension on the back end, that's for sure. But right now, I would say I'm feeling pretty neutral about what we're looking at. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, as far as elements go, I always like to talk about those, because that frames the reading, tells us how comfortable you might be with the energy. And it is predominantly water, which is your power element. It's your comfort zone, right? With the 9 of Cups, 5 of Cups. The world in the center is more of like a fixed energy, so I don't give it one specific element because it's multiple. It's just major arcana, which is very powerful. Now, when it comes to water, as already mentioned, very comfortable for people with cancer placements or even people dealing with cancers. But water is the emotional realm, the inner realm. So for a lot of you in this time, you might be a little more inward facing than you usually are. I always talk about partnerships. That's a big thing with water. It's anything we're emotionally attached to. So whether it's a situation, just something that we care deeply for, that's always tied in heavily with the cups. It's matters of the heart. That's why like all these things that we care about are tied to it. It's also very etheric. It's very energetically sensitive and tuned in with subtleties of energy. So that's something I really do like, especially if you're sensitive to it. It's creative. It's imaginative, very artistic. So like bringing that inward energy outward is like very, very positive when we have a lot of water. The only downside to a lot of water is that sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, right? Water is always moving. It waxes and wanes. Tide goes in, tide goes out. So in this time, we need to watch out for emotional ups and downs, especially with how these specific cards present themselves. But if there's any sign that could deal with it, it would be the beautiful cancers. Let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with one of the best cards in the whole entire deck. We have the Nine of Cups sitting right there. Look how happy he is. Our friend that resembles John Travolta, he's chilling there. He has nine full cups. He looks quite satisfied with himself. So whenever I see this card, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a win or a victory or some sort of wish fulfillment. That's a great thing. Now, aside from that, we could put that message to the side. I always say that this is a very open, welcoming type of energy. So whether this is how someone's acting towards you or how you're acting in general, it just feels content, right? And sometimes in life we're wanting more, sometimes in life we're wanting less of something. This seems like a nice flow state whenever I see it. It's nice and it's willing to open up, so I think that's a really great thing. Now the downside of the Nine of Cups is sometimes it could be a little too open, sometimes it could be a little too nice. So just watch out for that with any situations you're dealing with where it's like, all right, you don't have to let your guard down completely. um, Sometimes this card can represent someone that wants to enjoy themselves. So any pleasure of the flesh, watch out for overconsumption or overindulgence. We'll put it that way when the Nine of Cups is here. So usually great though, aside from like all the challenges, because you know me, I always have to give you both sides of the coin. I really like it. Feels happy and content and could absolutely be a win of some kind. Now moving to the middle, we do have the World. And this card, sometimes it gets a little misunderstood. It is the last of the major arcana, so a lot of times this card does get tied in with endings, but it's different. It's not like the Ten of Swords, it's not like the Tower. This is like a culmination, a slow culmination, a slow buildup. So, like, there is this little pressure of energy that comes in with this. Of course, with the World, it could be very cyclical. So obviously, it could represent karmic cycles, karmic situations, or just change in general. And I always say that life is about perpetual change, but sometimes it's more intense than others. And the World could absolutely be that. It could just be something coming to a head. But as far as like the end of a chapter that we're talking about, again, it's not like the Ten of Swords. To me, it's like close of one chapter, opening of the next. So one chapter closes, next one opens. So there's metamorphosis, there's change here, big shift. So we'll revisit that. And then sometimes I do also link the World to the world itself. So I'm not sure if this is someone that's like really focused on not hyper events, world events and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, the world can speak of the material world around us. Now, moving to the back end, we have the Five of Cups. This card is somewhat of the inverse of this Nine of Cups, whereas like the Nine is like very content and happy and nice flow state. The Five of Cups is sad, right? It's like the river of tears. But whenever we have a challenging card, I always like to say it's on a spectrum, right? Like, this doesn't always have to be the worst case scenario. The sky isn't falling. This could just be a couple of gloomy days. This could be something that's a little uncomfortable or just an energy that's a little bit down. So you see what I was saying earlier in the reading, how like we have the waxing and waning. We have the Nine of Cups and the Five of Cups. These are two energies that balance each other off. So hopefully you're in an energy of like nice neutrality. That's what I'm hoping for, because these energies can cancel each other out. Yeah, and again, it's on a spectrum. It could be something minor, it could just be a little anxiety, or it could be very sad about something. It really depends on the situation. The good thing about the Five of Cups that I like to mention is that three cups are down, two cups are still up, and there are still things off on the horizon. So it represents the temporary nature of a situation, the temporary nature of a potential problem or something that might be bothering you. So we're going to have to see how all this plays out. I want to dive deeper on all of the Cancer. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. All right, let's get a good shuffle here for my Cancer friends. What do we got? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot. Because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on our pal, the Nine of Cups. Let's see what he has. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Cancer, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, Nine of Cups time. What's happening here? What is happening? Lovers. Nice. It's just a very healing, soothing type of energy overall. Now, for those of you that are watching this for like partnerships and connections, stuff in those lines, um, this could actually be a turn for the best in some sort of connection or relationship. So I like that. Notice the lovers, it has the Adam and Eve symbolism. We have the Archangel Raphael, which is the Archangel of healing. So even if you're not dealing with anything with partnerships, this is a very healing, soothing, silky smooth type of energy. So I absolutely love it. I still do see a big winner victory right here on the front, which is great. This is also the card that represents Gemini. At the current time in this reading, we are in Gemini season. So when we link that with the Nine of Cups, it's like, oh yeah, no, something great's coming up, actually, something really good, something to look forward to. So this makes me feel good. And just like I've been saying, throughout the reading itself, where we have like this neutrality, this flow state, and I've been seeing this in some other signs recently as well, where it's like if we try to fight against the tide, we could tire ourselves out. There is this energy here that kind of allows or has faith or just lets something unfold. So whatever it is you might be dealing with, whether it's work, whether it's life itself, whether you're cool, maybe you're Nine of Cups right now, there is this energy that kind of just lets something unfold. We are not forcing, we are allowing. We have faith and we just let it go. That's how this energy feels to me. So I like it. We do have a win here, okay? Especially in interpersonal relationships. We're healing, but we're going to keep going. That's a great way to start. So I really want to see what's going on the back end here. That's actually really beautiful. But let's see why the world is here. Let's see what that has, because that's a shift potentially. So why is the world in the mix? Okay. Okay. So this is a big picture type of energy we're picking up, and it is the star. So again, very good, very positive, very angelic. We have this universal energy. This is big Aquarius vibes. Now, the water bear is actually one of my favorite cards, but there is something here that looks at the big picture. Normally, when I look at the star, I'm not thinking about today. I'm not talking about tomorrow. It's more so looking at like our full journey, big cycles, big shifts and changes. So I do think for a lot of cancers, you might be going through a very powerful change or metamorphosis. And again, life's always changing, things are always changing, but sometimes it's much more intense than others. So hopefully this breakthrough of energy is leading in a good direction. Now, the star is optimistic. It's very positive. It's looking at the silver lining of things. So when I see that with the world, it's pretty much advising to embrace the change or embrace a shift of energy, where it's like lean into it. Don't lean away from it. Lean into it. So I'm not sure how that might affect what it is that you're dealing with, but it's like don't fight against the current. Lean into it. Don't lean away from it. So hopefully that makes sense to whoever needs to hear it. But again, great energy. Like right here on the front, a lot of really good stuff. Wind-based type of energy, wish fulfillment. I like it a lot. But the thing with the world and the star, these are big picture energies. So again, we're not just looking at today, tomorrow, this week, next month. It's like we're looking at the big journey for some reason. We're going to keep going. We're going to see what the Five of Cups has. Maybe there is like a change of emotion or change of heart happening here as well. That's possible. We'll see when we get to the five. So let's see what the Five of Cups has for Cancer, please. And then we'll do our recap before we get into the shadow. Thank you. Okay. So we do have the Two of Cups, which is very, very similar to the Lovers. So there is, I will say this, the vast majority of this spread is extremely positive. That's for sure. But there is this energy that seems to be like a little thorn in the side. And this is how I explain the Nine of Pentacles sometimes, where it's like, hey, a lot of things are working, a lot of things are firing on all cylinders, things are building up in a very positive way. But there's just this one thing. there's this one thing that could be much better. That's kind of how this back end feels to me. Now the Two of Cups is very reminiscent of the Lovers. So this is a strong theme we have here. Usually represents soul ties, soul connection, same thing as the Lovers. People that we care for, near and dear to our hearts. This could be some sort of an emotional talk as well. Like when I say the Five of Cups with the Two of Cups, it's like somebody to talk to, someone to vent to, someone to get some emotion out. So I'm not sure what this venting session or emotional talk can be, but it does show up heavily here on the back end. Is it tied into all this other stuff? Potentially. Could it be something totally different? Absolutely. But the main thing I'm picking up back here is like one of those emotional talks or emotional venting sessions. That's what it feels like. So again, if you've been working through something, dealing with something, maybe you just need someone to talk to. Don't push it down. Don't suppress it. Don't hold it in. There's someone that you can talk to. You should. That's how this feels, because it's like these energies, they're kind of here for each other. If that makes sense. So I think it's good for the most part, but there is like this one little thing. It's like sticking in my side. It's like everything is going okay, but this one thing. Let's go through and do a quick recap, because there's a lot of beautiful stuff here, Cancer. But if you kindly look in the box, position number one, we start off with the Nine of Cups, the Lovers, and the upright. Beautiful stuff. I did say this could be a win or victory of some kind, just on the face value of how positive those cards are. It's very open. It's very open, very welcoming type of energy. There could be big improvements in personal connections in this time with this alignment. So really great stuff. Nice and content. But there is also this energy of allowing a situation to play out, allowing something to flow, having faith, and just being in the flow state, which is something I've been seeing for you in recent weeks as well. Moving to the center, we have the World with the star and the upright. Holding on to that optimism, holding on to positivity, super important for whatever perspectives you're dealing with. Where it's like, okay, well, it might look like this right now. It might look like Five of Cups, but I'm holding on to this star, which is a beautiful way to feel. Again, more win victory based type of energy, and we do have this shift of energy happening, very powerful change or metamorphosis. And then moving to the back end, we do have this like emotional talk or venting session when we go in with the Five of Cups and the Two of Cups in the upright, having a shoulder to lean on, having someone to share things with, or just like, really work through things. There is this undercurrent of healing that we have throughout the whole entire reading itself. So I think this is good. There could be a whole variety of different emotional conversations or talks that you have in this time, or maybe you need to have one, or maybe someone needs to have one with you. Could be all of that. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get it going here. What do we got in the shadows for Cancer, please? What do we got? Thank you. Cool. 10 wands. Yeah, this energy is a little thick, and that's okay. And you're not the only one that's gotten this in the shadows. Now, the good thing about the 10 wands to me, and before we even get into the shadow side, you know me, the optimist, being the star card, I have to tell you the positive. The 10 wands doesn't give up. It keeps pushing. It's always moving forward, even if the energy is heavy. So whether it's physical, mental, emotional, this energy is like, all right, this is a heavy load to bear, but I'm moving forward regardless, which is a good thing. And this could also be spirit saying, don't give up on something. Now, the downside to the 10 wands, obviously, with a person with all these sticks on their back walking uphill, is the heaviness. So in this time, especially with the emotional talk we were seeing, you might need some sort of outlet or venting or releasing, because this energy, it's just heavy. And for a very in-tune sign like Cancer, you might feel every bit of it, right? But that's all right. It's not permanent. That's the one thing I want to say. So just watch out for the emotional heaviness and make sure you're taking care of yourself. Self-love, self-care. But yeah, Cancer, that's what we got this week, my beautiful friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the June subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My June calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the June subscriber surprise, doing another winner's choice. The winners, which will be 3, will have a choice between either the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is a lovely tarot deck, one of my all-time favorites, Or you can choose a custom pendant from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's two simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards in the deck, which one do you feel represents you and your energy best? You could even pick multiple if you'd like. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab / post tab. My friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.